Hey, General, how are you doing? I am great. Um, I said open discussion on the title, and this probably won't apply to you since you're in the UK and I have no idea as far as housing in the UK. But I was going to give a few tips to the people, especially in California, um, low income. I'm not a broker real estate. I have family members, but just drawing on some people's experience and my own experience, I was just going to give some tips to some people on how they could buy a home. Good, good. Thank you for yesterday. That was such an enlightening topic we were talking about. And I'm gonna wait for more people to come in before I go into that, But yeah, I just wanted to thank you for bringing that up. Although I felt bad for your brother that he had to, endure that because I never will condone anybody to lie about something as important as that because covering that up means that there was probably more lies. But I did want to thank you for that because it opened up a discussion, and we don't usually talk about stuff like that or think about stuff like that until we are or a family member or a friend, comes across something like that. And to my knowledge, um, I'm sure there's YouTube discussions on that, but I've not run into them. I've not heard. I haven't been a part of a discussion that we had yesterday. So I do appreciate that because it opens up the people eyes of how important. You just have to be real. Yes, it was difficult for him, but my dad always said that he knew something was not right with the girl. Yeah, yeah. I think your dad having life experience and just probably intuition, because men can have it too. We women, we have intuition, but men have it too, and especially if it's regarding your child, it's like your antennas are up when you're talking about, a parent talking about things that happen to their children. Oh yeah, our antennas go up, our senses are more alert. Um, when it comes to our children because there's such a bond with our children. I think especially spiritual, and we just sense things that the person that's actually going through it may not even sense. But yeah, your dad was on it. He knew something was wrong. He probably couldn't put his finger on it because it sounded like she had everything lined up and on point, probably hair, makeup, clothing, whatever, but he knew something was up. Hey Zero, how you doing? How are you? I was just thinking general for bringing up some very important points yesterday, um about her brother, which I'm sure you were in the live, but at that point, but regarding her brother, and because that opened up a whole new discussion that I had not, me myself had not been a part of a live that spoke about that. Oh, you are, yeah, Zero. Some people are just like that. We call it women's intuition, but a lot of men have that ability too to kind of read a situation, and they may not be exact and have every point, but yeah, to be able to um, know something's up. And some people hit it on the head, and then others, it's like, um, I don't know. I see this, this, and this, but and then trying to tell, and the hard part is trying to tell that loved one or that friend, be careful because I'm not getting good vibes out of this. That in itself could be difficult telling a person. So, Well, at last you're gonna be resting, Zero, because I know it just seemed like you never complain. I never heard you complain, but I know you work a lot, and a lot of people are still off from their job, and some people don't even have their job. But I know a lot of times, you're at work when you're on my live, so keep on grinding, brother. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to put the title onto it, but I did want to just, from my experience, for people that was close to me, and then my sister was a real estate agent. I just want to give, and it won't be a long discussion. I just wanted to give people tips in case they wanted to buy a home, and you know how to buy a home with a lot of times without any down payment, because I've known people who have done this, and I rode along with them through the process. So no, it doesn't. I'm reading your intuition doesn't belong to one. Say, yeah, but people say, I had women's intuition and this and that. You've heard that before. But like I was telling General, yeah, when you came in and said that, yeah, men have it too. Men have it too. Um, I think maybe women just maybe talk about it more and share it more often than men. And so that's why maybe it's just geared a lot of times and people just think the women have it because maybe we just talk about it a little bit more. Well, I don't cry about it the same men do, about it, like some men do. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I just read your comment. Maybe men just don't speak about it as much. It is a great investment to have, to own a home. And like I said, I've walked with people who have bought a home. I bought. Um, this is the first home. No, this is the second home I bought. One was a condo, and this one is a single family. But this is the second one that I've done by myself. And except for maybe my children, I wouldn't, and this is me, I would never put anybody's name on my deed outside of my, children, obvious reasons. But I, I just feel like if people just, there are resources out there now, according to the information I've heard, and the interest rates are low. So if you can find other resources, this is a really good time to buy. In the UK, they have built so many new houses for sale, but the quality of the homes are poorly built. So sad. I think the same here, General. I think that a lot of times homes that's older was built more structurally sound, in my opinion. A lot of times in these new communities, they trying to hurry up and get them houses put up, in my opinion. They want to hurry up and put them houses together. The rooms are smaller. The walls are thin. Now, I bought an older home, and so there's some features in my home, and when I say older home, in the early 60s. I think this home is like 1961 or 62. And I find that even the homes earlier than that, I mean, if the electrical and the plumbing is good, it's like they have some really good features, that comes with the house. The features you just can't, nowadays. It's just, you a lot of times you can't find those features. And so I think older homes are stronger. Also here too, in my opinion, General, um, I was going to tell people, and I can repeat it really quickly, but I was going to tell people they can, to look for houses. Now you might have to do a little work on them, but make sure you don't have to, do so much that you house poor. But look for houses that may have been on the market a little bit longer, because then the owner can be anxious to sell, and so a lot of owners will be willing to cover the closing costs. Then what you can do, Zero says they are building the houses the same way to save on costs, yeah, and get the most money they can, while the people that buy the houses not knowing how poorly built they are. I agree, Zero. I agree, because I know someone right now that bought a home, and it's not a cheap home either. But when they went through the house, they had put the kitchen cabinets up wrong, or you know, and a lot of things, that they had messed up on, just trying to quickly do it. So yeah, yeah, they a lot of them are poorly built, and they ask them for an arm and a leg. Now you could also go. Now this is I'm sure they have funds, especially. Well, I'm not sure they have funds, but it's a good chance that cities are having funding because of what's going on. You can go through your city, especially if you are a first time buyer, and they have first time buyers program where um, they will gift you, not loan you. They will gift you uh, the down payment, and everybody check their city and see what the uh, uh, specifications are, because um, they like in some cities it's like you have to be there at least so many years, and then but if you sell it before a certain time, you have to pay that down payment back. So I forget, in some cities it might be 15 years, 20 years, or something like that. But if that's your forever home, you're not worrying about it. And then plus, if you do um, only keep it for 5, 10 years or what have you, you've gained equity. So if you have to pay that down payment back, that may not be as big as a deal, because the winning part of it is you've bought a home. So I was going to alert people to check with the city, check with your city, and see if they have a first buyers um, program where they will gift you the down payment. So there, you got the down payment, and then you have the closing costs, which the owner, you can negotiate with the owner. Um, I negotiated with the owner because my home had been on the market for a year. So they paid out of the they paid out of, they paid the closing costs. And the thing about it is they were the first owners of the house, and they had really invested in 10 or 15 homes. So they didn't have a mortgage, on this home. So whatever they made, when they sold the home, that would be, other costs involved, but that would be mostly profit for them. So for them to pay the closing costs, opposed to missing out on someone interested in the home, and the home had already been on the market for a year, there was no problem with this. So it's just a little research you have to do. General says most of the UK houses are very small, very expensive, and you may own the home but not the land. Here too, you can own a house but not the land that is built on. It can be messy, so a lawyer is needed when buying a home. Exactly, exactly. And through my broker, I just went on and used the people and the finance company that he worked with. So it, you have to do your research, but at least and good brokers, good real estate people will know of those programs. So even when you are picking out a broker to represent you, and walk you through the process, they may even know that, and you could back it up, of course, by do your research and your homework, and go through the city and just double check. But yeah, it's programs out there, and so that's why I didn't want to name it that when doing this live, because it's just very quick information. Um, some people I know that went through the process, when the underwriting, when they're doing all the paperwork and everything, um, they even they even got money returned to them. You know, now of course you're gonna have to pay for the inspector to come out, and then if the items have to be repaired, then it would be wise to have them come back and respect it again, make sure the work was done properly. So, making sure to protect yourself. Now, when I bought my condo, it was brand new, but I still had it inspected. It was brand new. Somebody bought it for an investment. Nobody had lived in it, but I still had an inspector go over it because, new places, you gotta inspect it too, because you don't want to move into something like I said before. I know somebody that the kitchen cabinets, they were all put up wrong, and you just want to make sure everything is the way it should be. So even in buying that condo, I had an inspector. Now before I bought that condo, I had looked at a townhouse, and the inspectors had said that it had termites out on the deck. Well, see, I didn't want to fool with that. I didn't want to fool with that. I didn't want to get no exterminator. And of course, the owner would have had to, eat that cost. I wasn't going to. And she didn't want to eat that cost. But even if she would have, that's to me, I just didn't want to go into some place knowing that it had termites. Because if you look up, or if you call a termite company, ooh, I mean, to get them, it's not cheap. It's not cheap for them to come out and get rid of those termites, and hopefully, they won't have to put a tent over your house, or townhouse, whatever. But I was thinking, okay, this is a townhouse. We share a common wall, at least one. I don't remember what it was at this particular townhouse, but it's like, okay, what if the termites are gone from mine, and the next door neighbor still have them? I mean, can't those termites just migrate over to mine? And so here we go. We got a problem again with termites. So I just wasn't, yeah, they are dangerous, that whole structure. Because and I used to wonder, pass through neighborhoods and they have them tents over their house, and some of them are, um, could be other things, I associated with termites. I'm really not savvy on that, so I don't know whether it was other, insects and bugs they were got rid of, but I associated it with termites. So if it was something else, I don't know. But yeah, I was just afraid that the termites are gone temporarily and they just gone, migrate again. And so I said, no, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. So I passed on that. And the lady had the nerve. She didn't want to do it either. She didn't even say, "Well, you know what? I'll get rid of those with you." You know, I wouldn't have done it. But she didn't even, she didn't even offer, and I sure wasn't going to offer. So it's like, and it's like I said, when I backed out of the deal, and I had every right to do that, she had the nerve to have an attitude too with me, and I had put a deposit on the place, and she just took her time about um giving me my deposit back. And so, we had to go through a little bit of back and forth, and I convinced her in a nice way it would be in her best interest to give me my money back because I ain't playing. I convinced her to do the right thing. And zero, I don't want to hear nothing about. I don't want to hear nothing from you. But don't play with my money. Don't play with my money because then at that point, uh, I needed those papers signed and I wanted my deposit back because then that's when I had found the uh, the condo that I ended up buying. So it's like this is the wrong time to be playing with my money because I need to take that money and move it over to a property that works for me. So the only problem I had with the condo was um, and I'm glad it happened then. Nobody was at the place, and I have an idea who did it, but I didn't see them, so I couldn't, do anything about it. But they stole the air conditioning unit. And then to find out a few minutes later that the guy was uh, um, what was he? He was, I want to say he was a contractor, but in other words, that AC unit would have been to a good value for him. So it kind of confirmed who I thought took the AC unit. Because we were doing like a final walkthrough, let me do this. And then my real estate agent turned on the air and there was nothing. And we went down there and the whole unit was gone. I was, oh my goodness. So then, I could have backed out at that point. And so I said, So the owner did replace it. She did replace it. Uh, but and with no problem. It wasn't no back and forth or whatever. She knew she had to do it, or I could back out. But she didn't. It was no discussion. She was told that she had to replace it, and I think she had replaced that within a week, I want to say, or as quick as she could get that man out to put that AC unit. But I really, really strongly, like I'm 99.9999 sure that I know who did it. And it was confirmed because he was in the business. Yeah, stole the air conditioner unit. Yeah, he did. I believe he did. And I don't have to say alleged because I ain't saying no names behind it. So I really believe he did. And, and I kept that in mind, him being a neighbor. Like I watch out for myself anyway. But I kept that in mind, General, when knowing what he's capable of, like, okay, now you have proved not to be trusted. So I'm keeping my eye on you. Have you ever had any problems with that since? Um, let's see. Before then, yeah, years ago, but um, not that I can think of. Not that I can. I don't think so. I wouldn't have to really think that hard. But before then, yeah, and that's an awful feeling when someone steals from you. Somebody breaks in your house. That's such an awful feeling. Yeah, I believe he did it because, like I said, with his line of business, and he was like his my front door faced his front door, and we shared a common sidewalk. Because our front door was on the sides of our condo. So yeah, he knew he could tell the lady who bought it. He could tell if anybody was there, whatever. He knew when he could do it. It was probably the wee hours in the morning when people were asleep, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And he had a truck, so he could have had a buddy of his, help him with that unit or put it on a dolly and put it on his truck, and went on to work. So it would have been very easy for him to do. Yep, exactly. You need to protect your investment. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I have been burglarized. It's an awful feeling. Just the fact that someone violated your personal space is scary. Exactly. You know, and it's scary, but it made me angry more than anything. It's like you work for things, you work hard for what you have. I've worked I worked on a job because that's the job that I retired from. I worked on a job that I despised, but then you get complacent. You be at a job for a certain amount of time, and then this particular retirement system, I knew it was a good retirement system, and you know, uh, and the benefits are good. And so you talk yourself into staying, but that's what the hurting part is you, you just work, the time and the effort and the investment, the money you put in it, because even though it's a new home and everything checked out real good, new condo, there's other things, if you want to paint it and of course you may not buy all brand new furniture, but you're gonna buy some stuff, so it's money behind that. And then somebody just think that, okay, this is old to me, I don't have to do anything about anything to get what, I just take it from somebody else. That infuriated me. Yes, it is perfectly normal to feel anger. Yeah. And I felt anger more than I did, for the like I said, the scary part, you know, that passed really quick. Being scared. That passed quickly. Anger came on real quick. It's like, how dare you? And then the point where I found out what he did for a living, that really made me angry all, and it was time after that. I can't remember how much time, but not a lot of time. 2, 3 months or whatever, something like that. I don't know. But then when you find out and you have you really think not enough that you can call the police, or not enough to even, I wouldn't have even confronted him unless and if I had concrete proof, I would have sued him and he would have been served before he knew anything about it. Well, of course, I probably would have sent a demand letter first, no, and let him know I had proof, and then put security cameras up and everything, because you don't know what, I mean, if he got enough nerve to do that, who's to say he wouldn't try to come over there and bother me and attack me physically, harm me in some kind of way, because until I let my son move in, uh, I was the only one there, and I let my son moved in. Like he asked me, and I thought to myself, I said that'd be pretty good because I don't want people thinking, I want a man in the house. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want people thinking that they could just, run over me and whatever, because you know, sons and mamas, there's a special bond in that too. So it's like a, a lot of sons will protect their mother. So I didn't hesitate when he said, "Mom, I need to get on my feet. I need to stay here for a certain time." So actually, he stayed with me until I sold it. I was in that house maybe about a couple of years, you know. And then at that point, I said, "Well, I want me a single family home. I don't want no condo. I don't want no townhouse. I don't want no common walls with nobody. I don't want like it's a few feet and I'm in somebody else's house, if the door is open. I don't want it like that. So I had to go back to living in an apartment so I can regroup. I didn't want to, just for a little bit. I just regrouped for a little bit. It wasn't long. And then, I bought my house. But yeah, that's a horrible feeling when somebody takes something that's yours. I've had people try to set me up to get what they thought they can get from me, but I I'm I'm not easy to trust people general, you know, especially when it comes to my money. I'm not easy to just a con man would get very frustrated with me. Yes, when you work hard for your money and to have someone steal from you when you wouldn't steal from anyone makes the anger worse. It really did. It really did. Yes, some neighbors are dangerous and may see you as vulnerable when there's not a man around. Good that your son was there. Yeah, yeah. Because I didn't want to ask him to move in, because the way I look at it, it's like my children's life. Live your life, But he's the one that wanted to regroup. And I just thought it was an advantage for both of us, And we were family, so, and even some family you can't live with, but my son is the type of a guy that he's not home a lot, but he's home when I needed him, the nighttime, you know. Yeah. Uh, the presence of a male can make a difference. Yeah. Where I'm at now, people know I live alone, but I got security cameras, and I got the alarm system. And even though my dog's a little, oh my God, especially my youngest one, you know, he's he just made 3, but he's a little bitty thing. He's not gonna grow anymore. But he's yapping. And then I'll look out the window and see anybody, and if I keep looking, I'll see someone coming up. I said, "Oh my gosh!" He knew somebody was coming up before they was even, close to my front door. Passing the in front of the house. So with my 3 dogs, oh, they let me know if anybody's around. And then, it doesn't hurt to have for a woman to have some added additional protection, if you know what I mean. The in Arab countries, a thief would have their hands cut off. They don't tolerate thieves. I heard that. I read that somewhere. And it's like, you did the crime. You have to take the consequences because, that should keep people from stealing. Okay. Now, if you go on and do it anyway, oh, we're going to take away your hands so you can't pick up nothing. That's your punishment. It's like, do I feel sorry for them? I'm a compassionate person. I am. But then again, you knew what the penalty was. Well, if you in that country, you know what the penalty is. So you took a chance. You so greedy or or evil that you're gonna do it anyway. Well, what can I say? What can I say? It is great that you are in a safe environment with camera. Yes, yes. And I can, like, I think I mentioned it before when you were in the live, but just in case I didn't, the one of my neighbors on next door neighbors, we've had words. The police was brought into it. That was the thing that sparked me to hurry up and get those cameras. Um, I just don't trust him. I don't care for him. Well, after he saw that I might live alone, but at any point I can call for backup, if you know what I mean. Because, I had invited certain people over to the house so it would be seen that, and understood that all I have to do is make a telephone call. Then he tried to set up things like, or try to talk to me and get friendly. No, 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 no. I forgive you, but stay away from me. So he would say, oh, to try to be, to get on my good side. And he didn't call me the worst name you can call somebody black. He called me that, and I lost count how many times. So of course, I'm through. I don't want no, I don't want no dealings with him. But now that he see my backup, he trying to, make nice. So I'm out in the yard doing something in my front yard. He comes over to the edge of the, no, I was getting groceries out of my car, and he comes over to the edge, still on his property, and say, oh, he calls me by my name. And of course I ignore him. And the man across the street, he know everything. So he's standing out there watching like, I'm going to see what go down. Cause he know the whole deal, the real deal. So he said, oh, I didn't acknowledge him, but I heard him. Oh, your dog, Kwame, your older dog, he got out of the yard. I think it was the gardeners. They left the gate open, so he got out. So I put the dog back in. He lying because number one, when the gardeners come over, I put my dogs in the house so they won't get out. Plus, if all that would have happened, I got cameras. Nowhere on my camera, because all I have to do is you know is on DVR. All I have to do is get that footage. Nowhere on that camera were my dogs out at the same time as the gardener or period. Because I would have the way my cameras are set up, I would have seen that whole thing. I would have seen him walking over to the sidewalk, putting my dog back in, closing the gate. I would have seen the whole thing. And so that lets me know he's scared. But you say the dogs are doing their job very good. Don't let people play with them because they will get to a customer. Exactly. Exactly. I don't my dogs are either in the house with me, I'm either walking them, or they're in my little yard, in my side yard, and I got a small backyard which have cameras I can see all around my house. So even when the neighbor come out to water this or trim their tree or whatever they do, my dog is barking at them. So I don't trust. No, I don't trust him, General. I don't trust him. He is. He is the neighbor from hell. He is. And so I had to nip that in the bud. I finally told my son what happened, the whole deal. Because at first my daughter was the only one that knew. But I finally told my son, and I told him, when he come over, and he hasn't been over since the pandemic. I might have him come over just for a little bit, just to show his presence. But he finally know, and the reason why I told him, because the neighbor was uh so busy trying to get, you know, try to be neighborly with him. And he told me that, it was something about him that he just wasn't feeling. Um, and I didn't tell him the real deal, but he knows now. He knows now. So I just wanted him to be, so when the neighbor is trying to be neighborly, my son will shut it down. He'll shut it down. So then now the neighbor will know, he knows I better really stay and keep my distance, because now she didn't told her son, because it will be a difference when he try to be neighborly again. Oh, it's gonna be, my son will let him know without telling it straight out. He'll let him know, oh, I know what you said to my mama. I know what you said and called my mama. Said my sister lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and when we speak on the phone, she always complain about her neighbors being no. Oh my goodness, talking about nosy. Now the I have nosy neighbors. Is one when I'm facing my house on the right side. He mind his business. It's it's two guys that live next door to me on the other side. They mind their business. And then the lady not right across the street, she mind her business. But the man across from me, the one that was looking out, now if he's looking to see what's going on, I don't really care, because I know that he'll be the kind of neighbor just, but see, he got some, I don't know if they're relatives or whatever. He have some women roommates, about three of them over there, two or three over there, that I don't trust them. And one just moved in, so I don't know whether it's three or not, because I don't know whether one left or not. But she let me know. I was outside getting some out my trunk, and she was, oh, I like this little neighborhood, and then as she walked, and I'm backing up because I'm trying to keep my social distancing, like I don't know you. And she's she would be the type that try to come across the street to whatever. Maybe she don't mean no harm, but I don't want you over here. I don't know you. You know, don't try to be neighborly. I don't know you. You just got here. I gotta feel you out. I'll say hello. I'll be cordial, but I don't know who you are. So step back a little bit, because I start backing up, and I think she got the hint. And if she didn't, I would have told her, okay, we supposed to be social distancing, it's for your good as well as mine. I would have made it civil. I would have made it civil, but yeah, you gotta watch these, neighbors. And I was on one live, and this lady was, she was, talking about what was happening and everything, and she was asking people in the live, um, do you feel, you know, safe with your neighbors? Do you feel like your neighbors would help? And I just came out and I told her, no, no, I don't. I would, some of my neighbors need to be watched. Now she immediately said, oh, and she was a black lady. She said, oh, in my last in my old, I didn't trust them either. And I'm thinking to myself, why she put it like that in her old neighborhood? Because I'm black and she black, and I'm saying that I'm not really feeling safe around some of my neighbors. I think I said, she wasn't nasty about it, but it was like, oh my gosh, I think she thinking I live in the hood, And even if I did, and then I live in the hood, but I don't, and I refer to it as the hood when I'm talking, but I don't really live in the hood. In fact, I'm the minority. So when I said, I'm not feeling some of my neighbors, and I don't feel like, they would, a majority, I wasn't talking about black folks. But I think I think she assumed that I was, because any neighborhood you in, nowadays, I don't think people should judge. But over here, every neighborhood can be a bad neighborhood. One thing happened, and there you go. Yes, I will be careful. Oh, yes, very careful. I will be careful. Um, and I've always been, not always, but as a teen, and in my early 20s, from experience, I've learned to be mindful of your surroundings. Yeah, I was taught that life lesson through experiences a while back. Be careful of your surroundings and the people that's around you. You know, don't be so trusting. Don't be so so trusting of who's who. You know, they 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 may start off neighborly, nice, like the conversation we had yesterday. People start off, they nice and cool, and oh, okay, this person is cool, and then uh-oh, here come the real them. You know, the the monster come out at night. Like the freaks come out at night. Yeah, it just they people can't hold who they are for very long unless you're not watching, unless you're not observing. But if you're observing, okay, you're gonna see the real them eventually. Hold on just a second, I got a text in. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, I had to get back to my ex daughter in law, and she has my youngest grandson. So I want to coordinate, being on quarantine, self quarantine, and I just wanted to coordinate with her when I see him. I don't want to put her at risk. I don't want to be at risk. Um, so you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let's see what happened first. And then you guys come over and spend some time with me so I can see my grandson. Because I had sent him some things directly, but then I bought some things and I said, well, then he'll be over. And then this quarantine thing came in, and so I haven't mailed anything because we're trying to see how long it's gonna last. So I got some little games for him and a little electric car for him because he loved cars. And so I got some stuff for him that I bought him because I'm the type of person that it don't have to be Christmas, it don't have to be your birthday. So if your birthday coming, oops, okay, uh, but I already got you this last week. It don't have to necessarily be on that day. It don't have to necessarily be Christmas. If I see something, I might hold it for Christmas and or your birthday if there's like a good sale. But I like to I like to surprise people. My kids and grandkids. I like to just okay, I think this would look cute on her, my daughter, and so I'll just send it. Or then with my granddaughters, I don't want to buy them nothing. How teenage young people are. I don't want to buy them anything, and it's I don't particularly like that. So I'll call them and I'll tell them, okay, pick something off of this, take a picture with the item number, and I'll order and I'll send it to you. That way, I know they like it. But people could buy you stuff. I've had people buy me stuff, and I'm thankful. Don't get me wrong, but that wouldn't have been something I bought for myself. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep it. And one thing somebody got me, I wore one time, and it's just not my style. But you know what? when they when they hold on just a second. Okay, yeah, I had to take that call, but yeah, it's just I have learned through life to be careful. So, what's the feel over there in the UK? You know, um, how's the climate over there? Is it as intense as it is over here, or does it seem like okay? It's a little, thank God, it's a little bit, it's a little better over here, and a little more freedoms, out going out and about as far as quarantine. And, you know, I don't know whether the cost of living is high in California. A lot of parts in United States are much better. Uh, and I'm considering, moving to a neighboring state, maybe, because moving in the same city is a chore. To move into out of state is even a big chore, and then moving to another country, that. And I've even thought about that. But I told myself I wouldn't dare move to a country if the cost of living is just as high as here. And, you know, because with my children, I would probably just only be able to see them once or twice a year. So I don't know if I could even handle that with my kids and the grandchildren. But I thought about it. I just didn't close I left that door slightly open. But I saw when I was really, kind of researching idea of even going out of the country, the only place it looked like I could really afford would be Vietnam. It's like I don't know nothing about no Vietnam. That's out. Um, I don't even know. So I think, the door is slightly open, but more so another state in the United States. Because if I move to Nevada, not really Las Vegas, but not real far, oh, I'll probably see my kids a lot. You know, they love going there. They like to gamble. They like to see the shows. They like to walk up and down the strip. And, they have the street vendors, and the street musicians. And it's really fun for them. So I would probably see them a lot. So um, I'm just considering because I'm really tired of California. It's ridiculously high. So that means I would have to sell my house, you know, um, and I would probably go there at least for a year, just to fill out the areas and, while I'm leasing, just kind of fill out the areas. Because the good thing about Nevada is no tax, no state tax. And then if you have some type of pension or whatever, my understanding is you don't they won't tax that. So I have to investigate that more. So I was just wanting to see what your feel was on things as far as living in UK. um you did say it was expensive. I think you said, do you ever visit your sister in Atlanta, Georgia? Would you say you would be going about your merry way, and your neighbors are planning and plot. No, I didn't see that, but yeah, yeah. Oh, your battery died. Okay. Yeah, I had to plug up my phone because I had very little juice in my battery. In my yeah, and my phone is being uh charged right now as well. Yeah, yeah. Because they could be watching and see, okay, she usually leaves around this time on this day, whatever. Try to see what pattern. Your neighbors try to see what's your pattern. Because when I was married and my house was vandalized and robbed, well, not robbed, burglarized. Uh, I think they knew. I think they were watching, and I suspect, and I had a feeling of who did it there too. I really did. Oh, you haven't been to the States? Yeah, I was just wondering if you visited your sister. Does she get to come there and visit you? Because, I would like to go back. I would like to go back, um, and just not be set with any tours overseas, not have any tours, just, and if I do, it wouldn't be pre-planned, here. Like when I get there, oh yeah, I like to do this and take a tour, but pretty much I'd like to stay at least a couple of months. And if that's not feasible, at least a month. because I don't think a week or two. You can't do what you can't do a lot of what you want to do. So my sister met her husband when he came to the military base in the. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. And then she moved to Atlanta. My sister met an American husband when he was at the military base. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I know you miss her because I have a sister that she doesn't live in Atlanta. She lived outside. And I can't think of the town. I'd have to find a text because, we don't write. We don't even email. We would text or call. And my camera, we tried to do I tried to do a video kind of thing and I didn't know how to do it. I had another phone, so I had no clue how to do it. So we never did video calls. But yeah, I have three nieces. I can't remember the university that they went to, but they went to school over there in the UK. And you know, exchange students, I guess. But what you say they got married and they moved into Atlanta. She said some black Americans are anti-immigrants and said they didn't understand her accent. What? They didn't understand her accent. I think I like the accent. I like Australian accent. I just because there's one family, the YouTube, the Nate family, and they live in the UK. And it's funny because what's so cute about it, even the little kids, they have that accent. They're the sweetest little kids. Oh gosh, what is the name of that family? It's a black lady and she's married to a white guy, and think they have five children. She just had a baby that's maybe about 8 months old. I can't remember, but I love watching them. Um, and all of them, I think the guy met his wife over there. But I'm telling you, General, if I was to come over there, very, um, it would be no time at all that I pick up accents because I was there, I would say again, estimate about 5 days or so. And when I was going to the pubs, which, that was the I think we went there more often than anything because we could walk. And so just listening to everyone with that accent, I could I could pick it up. I could pick it up. I could, I can, and it doesn't, I was going to say I can mimic it, but it was more so like what I heard, I just, I just picked it up. And I was trying to find the right word, but I don't want to use mimic. I wasn't mimic. I wasn't mocking. I just picked it up because that's all I heard. And at the time I was married. So when I was married, my husband would look at me like, oh, you picked it up real good. I think he kind of liked it, to be honest with you. Our parents are from the Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad. Never been to either one. Oh my gosh. That, so Did she have the accent from Trinidad or did she have the accent from the UK? Because my it's different. I've been married a couple of times, so my other ex, my other ex, he was from Belize. And I don't really talk about that husband a lot because that was just totally, totally uh disrespectful. I mean, as far as the whole thing, just one day I'll talk about it. It was just, why in the world did you get married? Because I think that he did it for the wrong reasons. But I didn't, but as far as accents or whatever, people saying they didn't like his accent, I didn't have no problem with that. I think because he lived in Chicago and I come from Chicago, and it was just like a by chance meeting. And we had so much in common as far as what I thought, spirituality. And so that made it very attractive. When you meet someone and you have you have your beliefs and you figure, hey, it's like people I'm meeting, they don't even jive with me. But on that particular level, you know, but to be honest with you, I think he had the wrong reasons because he slipped. Uh, he didn't do it. He didn't. He wasn't an immigrant legally. I'll put it that way. The reason why some Black Americans are anti-immigrant is because when immigrants come over, they come with a sense of superiority towards Black Americans, but will use us when they're in trouble. Okay, okay. Oh, that's Zero talking. That's Zero talking. Hey, welcome back, Zero. And General says, "Hi, Zero. Welcome back. Yes, I'm back. Yeah. Um, this ex, uh, like I said, he was doing it for the wrong reason. And I caught on very quickly. And even though somebody, say they want to stay married, it's like, no, I could never trust the sincerity of, okay, yeah, I genuinely want to be with you, opposed to, hey, I want my green card. And I have never thought that I would have to deal with that, you know, somebody wanting to be married because of a green card. And I didn't feel no kind of way because it's funny. After I did get married, I was talking to my sister, and I was telling her, that's before everything came out. And I was telling my sister, "Ooh, I think I made a mistake. I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you." I said, "But something's up. I feel it." And so it's a lot more to the story, but in my spirit general, I felt I knew something. It's like I knew something was up, but I couldn't explain it even to my sister. And we would tell each other everything. We would be on the phone for hours, but I couldn't shape the feeling. And it grieved me, because I knew it wasn't a good thing. And then when everything came out, I said, "Oh, that's what it was." And so by me feeling that way, I don't think he was sincere because even, if we met each other and he wanted the green card, but yet we just happened to meet each other and oh, this works out perfectly and live life, it could have been that scenario, but I felt in my heart it would never be that way. And it's like that's okay with me. It's like and I know I should have probably felt worse about it, but I felt like okay, but I can't help you, brother. I can't help you. Cyril, I didn't know that. My sister said some Black Americans would immediately ignore her when they heard her accent. She was hurt because we love America. We look up to Black Americans. General said, yes, you got the feeling sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Some people are dishonest. He was about his intentions. And I thank God that and the whole marriage shouldn't have happened. So I take responsibility because it takes two. I take responsibility for that part. But am I hurt? Am I hurt that the marriage didn't last? Oh no, I ain't hurt. It's like, ooh, whew, you know. So that's fraud. That's fraud. All right. I can get out of this one. So it makes you real leery about strangers. And like I told you guys yesterday, it's like right now, it's like I do better. I do better being single, you know. So yeah, but Zero is right. Yeah, it was fraud. It was fraud. I feel that a lot of Black Americans feel that way that Zero said. He's right about that. Um, and I'm gonna tell you though, when I went to Africa and I was in Kenya and Tanzania, I got away with a lot because I was Black. I got away with, you know, I got away with a lot. Um, in Kenya, before we even started, and even throughout some of the things, except for when we had buffets, like at the hotel, I never forget it. I don't even know if it's still open. It's called the Serena Hotel in Nairobi. I stayed there for a portion. And then when we were getting ready to leave, I came back and then took the flight home. But in the restaurant, and this was all prepaid, all we had to do is pick out what we want on this tour. The maitre d' would take orders, and we were seated with other people. It was probably a table of six or something, and me and my husband was brought big portions of food, and then everybody else, because at that point we were the only two blacks, on the safari at that time, and then another. And I should do a story time of the guy that we met later on in Tanzania, but he was Black. But at that time we were the only two, and they gave us a heaping, plenty of food, but everybody else got small portions, and so um, it was noticed. And so we were seated at another table, larger table. And I guess some people thought if they sat with us, they would get more food, but they didn't. He gave us the big portions, our maitre d', and gave everybody else the small portions, the smaller portions, like, and the food was good. Um, I forget what they had, but it wasn't like a traditional, it wasn't traditional food. Which I tasted some things, not really knowing whether it was Nigerian food or whatever. With some dishes I make because I like them so well, but I we didn't get any traditional food there. But I enjoyed the food, lots of fruit, whatever. And when we did go out later on, and we wanted to go out and about around the town and go to different places, we took the maitre d', so he could kind of show us what was what. And some will say that was reverse discrimination, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It was nice. It was beautiful. It was great. Going some places. Well, I wasn't judged by the color of my skin, and nobody. I was the same. We were like, because even when I went to the lounge at the hotel after dinner, and there was a band there playing there, and the band members, us, we were black, but they knew we wasn't. We were tourists. On their break, they came over to me and said, they didn't say nothing to my husband, but they would talk to me and they said, "Welcome home, sister. You have, oh gosh, I just felt that was my home." And when they said that, I just, it's like, that all while I was there, I could feel a difference from being over here in the States and being over there, the way I was treated. Now, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, they run into Africans and they treated like this and that, whatever. But while I was over there, I was not treated bad at all. I would, they spoiled me, actually, and people were jealous. And I'm gonna write some things down because I want to do a story time, a live story time, and tell you guys some of the adventures that I had over there. And I was just treated like royalty. And the thing about it, when they saw that, when they knew that we were from the States, they were playing James Brown, Temptations. No, we want to hear the music that's popular here, but they was playing James Brown and the Temptations. Like, no. Let's see. General says, what do immigrants do and say to make Black Americans feel uncomfortable? Hmm. I don't even know if it's what is said. Um, it may be more of an attitude. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe something that was directly said to me. I'm trying to think of but the only, see, I can't gauge too much, especially only only from the Belizeans that I met and how I felt that they were. And it was more so not so much what they said. It was the arrogance, even in my ex-husband. When I was in Chicago with him, we would go places and I knew what he was doing. It's hard to explain, but if we went to if we went someplace, he would dominate Oh, I want to explain this right. He would dominate the conversation so people would hear this accent as to not mistake him from American, a black that was born here in America. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm explaining it right, but it would be nonsensical the way he would just say stuff that wasn't even pertaining to a conversation we were having. He just wanted to, even when we walked in the grocery store, when we left Chicago and came back home to, Chicago to California, when we got back home and we'd be walking through the grocery stores and he would just continuously talk loud enough that people could hear his accent, and so people would see that there was something different again, in him. Please, attitude like, please don't mistake me from a black American. I am not. I'm different. So it was more so what I saw, and I can only speak from the people I met. Believe they were, they were the ones that I met. I'm not going to say all of them, but the ones that I met were very arrogant. But other countries, I can't speak on that. I can't speak on that. And other islands, I can't speak on that. I can just tell you my experience with that Belizean guy. And even some people, when they found out, when they knew I was getting married, but some of them were not able to come to the wedding. Um, when they found out, I'm gonna be honest, my brother, he had not met him, but he was able to come to the wedding, and he found out he was from Belize. He told me, he said, "Oh, Marilyn, I wish I had known and talked to you before you got married." Whoa, uh, this is after the I do's. So I kept that bit of information. I said, okay, I'm not going to act on that. I'm just going to keep that in my memory bank. I'm going to lock that up for future references. And I hope I didn't kind of keep that. And I don't think I did. I didn't store that away. I think I stored it away the way I felt to protect myself. Okay, let me take this information and keep it. So but see, another somebody else from Belizean could come and just kick that theory out of the water. So I don't even want to say all Belizeans, but the Belizeans that I met, his brothers and sisters, and the ones that was able to come, mm, no, thank you. They were like Zero was talking about. What you say, General? You would have sat with you would have sat with us to get more food too. It didn't work. Oh no. If you were from the islands or anything, they would have treated you the same. So yeah, you wouldn't have had to come to our table. You wouldn't have had to come to if you was at another table, being from the islands, they would have done the same for you. I've never been to any African countries. It is nice that you were treated well. I was treated, and I just can't. It's like people don't believe me when I say that. They said no. You know, they don't even. They just say Africans. They don't say from Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, any of that. They say, oh, it's like they don't believe me. But I can tell you from my experience the way I was treated, and I was treated very well. I heard from Black Americans who travel overseas, they feel that we have Black privilege in most areas. I did, Zero. And I did. It's like, what is this? But I tell you also, I know there's many dialects of Swahili, and I tried to pinpoint it, and I hope I did. I think they understood me. I tried to pick up their language. I bought the book, and and then I was around them, and I started picking up that accent. I just pick up accents. But I was very well treated, because I tried to communicate. And I told on one tour I went to, I told the one guide, do not speak to me in English because they knew English very well. Speak to me in your language. And so I think if I had spent any significant time there, I'd be speaking fluent because it was very easy for me to pick up that dialect of Swahili. And I did, and I had a separate book tried to pinpoint exactly, the Swahili over in Tanzania. So I tried, okay, like, okay, I'm in Kenya, I'm in Tanzania. Let me try to communicate and kind of get the feel more instead of, you know, okay, if you don't speak English, I don't know what you're talking about. No, no. I had to tell them, don't speak English to me. Don't speak English to me. I want to learn. And when you're forced to ask what a bathroom was, when you're forced to, get a glass of water, when we went to the different country clubs that was in the tour, you pick it up when you have to. So I think if I had to stay there, I would be fluent in that particular region, of Swahili dialect. Zero says, okay. Okay. Zero says, I know that Ghana has an open invitation for Black Americans to migrate and settle there. And you know what? Through YouTube, she's in Spain right now. One of the girl content creators. Her name is, I don't know her last name, but she's Jenny. I think it's Jenny's World. She has a YouTube page. She's in Spain right now, but she originally comes from Ghana. So when she went to visit Ghana, she did, she made videos and upload them. Very interesting. I would have to visit for a while if I decided, but I know my money would go far. I know the American dollar would go far because um it I didn't spend a I didn't well the trip and the food, all that was in a package. The extra things, like if you went, like I went to the pub, that was separate. If I went to nightclub, of course, that was separate. Your souvenirs separate, all like that. And if you ordered, a beer or something like that, alcohol, of course, that's separate. Um, so I really didn't have to have much money when I went over there. But I still think my money would have went a whole lot further than over here. See, AB's kitchen. Hey, AB, how are you doing? Welcome to the live. I just saw you. I just saw you. Thank you. How are you doing today? Zero says not as it's not so much being uncomfortable as about disrespect, General. Okay. Um, when I was dealing with my exes, um, people, it was blatant disrespect. And let me just say again, that was, you know, his friends and family. Blatant disrespect. General says, zero, everybody love Black America. I think that's a typo, General. is that is that a typo, General? I'm slow with the. I'm slow with the comments because I get sidetracked if I look at them. You think so? I'm reading your message. Um, the American accent is beautiful to hear. Huh. You say that, and then when I hear other accents, I say, "Oh man, that looks like." Especially, the family I was talking about from the UK. Even the kids going around, and some things that they say as simple as, let me try to think of something. They'll say like, um, "Oh gosh, what did she say to her son?" The lady was saying something to her son. It was a compliment, but the word she chose, we use the word too, but it seemed to be, um, and it's very common word, but that's a word that I particularly don't use a lot, although it's not like a surprising word. But I'll think of it in a minute. Zero says a lot of immigrants are arrogant. That's true, Maryland, and then have the nerve to tell us that we're lazy when they get handouts from the government when we start from nothing. Sure do start from nothing because I ain't got nothing from nobody. Uh, I got the blessings from God, but it's like as far as somebody giving me this and that, no, no, no. But I'll tell you, from my previous conversation, I did kind of work it though to get my house. I did kind of work it. I think because they were kind of they were hungry, thirsty, or whatever you want to call it, to sell this house. And I had to do some, things to it. And I knew that. And, so I worked it, you know. This is shocking to hear. Black Americans should never be disrespected when they have been through a lot. You know it. You know it. You know it, General. And even not as much as our ancestors went through. They paved the way for a lot of things, but it still ain't right. But I thank God for the generations before us, um, that paved the way for a lot of things, but it still ain't right. It still ain't the way it should be. It still isn't. But, thank you for saying that, General. Gerald says, General, everyone loves us outside of the U.S. And I hear that UK is like that as well. But when immigrants come over here, regardless of skin tone, treats us like but we're that treats us like they're beneath. Yeah, that's what Zero, and that's what I was told when I had come back from Africa and told them what great time I had and how I was treated, and that's exactly what I was told. Well, not exactly paraphrasing, like, yeah, that was them over there treating you like that. But when they come over here, this is how it is. So yeah, I was told that, Zero, when I was, because I was just amazed of the relief that I felt being out of situations here in the States and going over there and not having to deal with situations as far as racial prejudice. Uh I didn't, you know, I was treated very well. Yeah, it shouldn't be general, especially since a lot of the laws that immigrants benefit from was from Black Americans fighting for our rights, and we get not even a thank you for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zero, my parents are from the island, and my sister and I were born in the UK, so we have a lot of respect for others. Yeah, thank you, General. Zero says, well, that's good that you do, General, but even some islanders can get disrespectful as well, but there are some that are very respectful. Yeah, yeah. And I had met some islanders, and it's hard to gauge because I had met these islanders. I was on a cruise and they were working the cruise, and one of the guys was from St. Martin's, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And his job was to make us comfortable, and he was good at his job. But then when we would talk, at like say he got off of work and was on up deck, you know, he was so he. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was surprised that I was not interested in him. I guess his accent was supposed to. I was supposed to swoon. Oh, his name was Sylvester. Oh, Sylvester. You know, I was supposed to do that, and I didn't. So I think he was kind of offended because it didn't sway me. It just didn't sway me. Zero, yes. My sister and I studied history, so we know about Black American studies. Black Americans should never be respected ever after their ancestors have built America. And see, General, yes. And that's why Black lives matter. And I'm not saying everybody else is insignificant, you know, they little low life don't mean nothing. I'm not saying that. But I that's why Black Lives Matter, and people will try to twist it and turn it and make it something else. But basically, when we were brought over here, our lives matter because when we came over here, it was as property. Like you don't even matter. You're not even above the cattle, you know. And that's where I'm coming from. It's like ain't nobody say, you know, all lives didn't matter. But right now, we talking about blacks because our life didn't matter, and it seemed like the things going on, it don't matter now. So we're gonna have to stress that point. You know what I'm saying? That Black Lives Matter. We also founded and created America as well, too, General. Marilyn asked if that's a typo. No, I didn't know whether I read it right. I read something and I probably missed something. I probably missed something, and I didn't know whether I had missed something. I'm gonna have to go back because I even forgot right now what it said. No, but I don't think I read it right, or I didn't read before that what you had said. So that's why I asked. Zero, because my parents are from the Caribbean island, and my sister and I were thought our history was, and I were taught our history by then. They don't teach African slavery history lessons over here in the UK. Well, in the United States, I think they leave out a lot. So we were taught bits and pieces. You have to dig and research on your own. Don't expect to, you know. Now maybe the black schools, universities, whatever. But as a whole, a lot of is researching on our own unless they change things. Because I'm not in nobody's school right now. Okay, Zero say he wasn't Jamaican, was he, Maryland? Your story of Dexter from Jamaica from Eddie Murphy. No, no. My ex was from Belize. Hey, SP. Thank you, SP. Good evening. How are you? Yeah, he's saying hello to General. Thank you for coming in. You guys, hold on just a second. My dog want to go outside. You rock, being Maryland, Gail. You put it in you know, I want to say a, a, do I want to say initials, but you spelled it out individual. Does that stand for something? Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Thanks, guys, for holding on. Yeah, General says UK do not teach African slavery lessons in high school. We want to study it at the university. Yeah, yeah. Uh, like I said, a lot of people just research different, things. They go back and they research the life of different people and different movements and the times and just go back, and a lot of people just do it individually, not saying that like I said, I think the black universities, colleges are more apt to do that. General says I had a misleading typo, I had to delete it. Is that the one that I said? Is that a typo? Because like I said I didn't get, yeah, I didn't get that was the way you intended it. But then I said, well, maybe I didn't see another comment. The truth comes out. I thought I was tripping, General. So you did have a typo. Okay. No, SP, earlier, I was just, I didn't put it in a title because it was going to be real short. I was just telling people who wanted to buy a home that was in the States, and I know you're in Canada, and so I have no idea how it works there. Um, what resources they can go to that they can have no down payment and no closing costs when buying a home. And in fact, after the underwriting gets everything together and redo the figures, a lot of times you're getting a check back from the mortgage company. So I just shared that earlier, but I know Zero probably have information about that, so that's why I didn't stress it, because either I thought the people that was in the chat knew it, or they were in another country and it may not apply. So I just did it really quickly. Zero says, no, Marilyn, there, that was earlier. You said this is something else. Okay, okay, I missed it then. It went over my head, Zero. I'm going to just be honest. That one went over my head. Yep, I'll admit to that one. I didn't grasp it. And that's why, you know, Zero pickup. I mean, like I said, sometimes when I'm talking about something, I don't zero in on a comment sometimes because then I want to answer that and then I forget what I'm talking about. So I kind of look away. But in doing that, I'll miss something. So I apologize. Yeah, that was a journal says 1SP. My family are doing okay. They are shielding from the COVID-19. Yeah. I hope everybody is being safe. Um, I'm not sure of the real deal. I know that the public is not told a lot of things. So I'm going to gauge on what I feel about things and I'm going to take my time about getting out there. You know what I'm saying? And when I do have to get out, finish this live, I'm going to go to the post office to check my P.O. box um, and stop to the store really quick. That's up the street because I try to not do one thing and just set up appointments so a little further off in the future. Um, I want to gauge what's happening. Okay, people talking about open up this, that, and other. Okay, I'm gonna be on the sidelines watching. I'm not too eager to just jump into things because because I just don't feel we're getting all the information we need to make a decision on certain things. So I'm going to just feel make decisions based on certain things I've seen, but what I also and heard, but also what I feel. So if I'm not sure of something, I'm just gonna be real cautious. Bottom line. General says, "Want to be how your family doing? Want to be elaborate on your last comment." Yep, I'm geographically a foreigner, even to my own. I just read it. You're a foreigner, even to your own family. I know one time you had said you have people in the you have family. Did you say in the states? And I thought you said Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong because I see and read a lot of comments, but I thought you said you had family in Georgia. So, you guys, I am going to be on probably another 10 minutes. I'm gonna make it to the uh, another 10, 12 minutes, so it could be 2 hours, and I will stay on here longer. However, like I said, I want to go to the post office, and I hope the part where you have PO boxes is still open because I think the post office is closed right now. But I think you can go in after hours for your PO boxes. SP says, my kids are here in Canada too, but the rest of my family lives in the States. Okay, okay. My parents and little brother, sister in law, nephews, and niece are in South Florida. Oh, okay, okay. So at least when you want to visit the states, you have some place to stay. You don't have to get no hotel. Well, you don't have to. But yeah, you got a lot of family in the states. Parents, your little brother, sister-in-law, nephew, niece. But I don't know who that was then. Someone was saying they had family over in Atlanta. Besides you, General. I know you said that. Besides you, I thought somebody, and I thought it was SP, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, I I would when I was younger and we lived in Chicago, we would go through the part of Canada, and I was so young. I don't know whether the sign said "Welcome to Canada" or "You're entering," and I don't even know what Providence we were in. Whatever way you can go further north and head to Canada, whatever that province is, but I don't remember. I was just too young, but I've been there, but I can't tell you anything about it. No, I know you did, General. I know you said you had family, in Atlanta, Georgia, but even before that, and when SP came on, yeah, see, my second ex-wife lives in a town out of Savannah, Georgia called Vidalia. Vidalia. Yeah, I knew somebody. It wasn't Atlanta, but I knew Georgia. Okay, okay. The home of the sweet onions. Okay. We all known for something. So, what? Georgia is Savannah is what Vidalia is home of the sweet onions. Okay. Canada have a good looking prime minister. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. I like eye candy. But I'm not supposed to have a lot of sweets, so I just look. Justin Trudeau is a beast mode indeed. Oh, you laughing by that, General? When you said good looking, did you mean was that a joke, or did you mean for real? For real? Hold on, guys. I gotta let them silly dogs in. When Justin Trudeau came to the UK summit, he was caught gossiping about Trump. I would have loved to hear that. I would have loved to hear that. I just would love to hear, be a fly on the wall, so to speak, to hear what a lot of these people are saying about him. Some people are caught on camera, some people will do it on camera, but other people, they gonna they gonna wear that poker face and not say much. But I know they be joking and laughing. Oh, he's good looking. Okay, okay. Hold on just a second. Okay. Sometimes my dogs they just don't want to wait until I'm finished. And they will let me know. They bark at me. When they just bark, they're either hungry or gotta go to the restroom, um, or want my attention. But it's something. They just don't bark for something. So we got this little language thing going on that, I understand most of the time what they want. Says Justin Trudeau said Trump is all about his appearance and says jaw dropping things. Yeah, he do. He do. I might try to Google that and see if I could just say, I need a good laugh today. And he's worried about and he's all about his appearance. Yeah, yeah. And when I see that person, I don't like to say his name. I'm say 45. I don't like to say his name. Um, it, let me stop. I'm not even gonna start. I'm not even gonna start. I'm not even gonna start. Trump got upset and left the UK summit early. Is that why he left? Because I saw bits and pieces, and I didn't, I didn't see all what I probably should have set down. Okay. Oh, you can say it. You can say it. I don't care. I'll say me. I'll say 45. Yeah. No, if you want to say it, I don't have no problem with you saying it. Just like, it's hard for me to say without gagging. But that's another story. See, that's why I don't really talk politics because, it's like I be, it'd give me anxiety if I let it. But, oh, Lord, help us. Help us, Lord. We in dire need of your assistance. What you say? Come on, Marilyn, say it. Let it out. Oh, it's hard to say, girl. My maternal grandmother is from Alabama. Most of her family is still there. Oh, okay. My mom was from Arkansas, and so all her sisters and everybody in that family mostly could cook real good. So that's one thing I learned from my mom. I do these home chef meals, but I like to cook my own creations, and I really love to cook. I really do. Zero says Trump 45 is a troll and knows exactly what he is saying to get people upset, but I find him funny. Oh, I've laughed a few times, Zero. I've laughed a few times out of like, what the what? What are you talking about? Like, you silly man. He was, I thought Bush was lumpy, loopy. I said lumpy. But 45 is on another planet and level. He just, I think that's why on Saturday Night Live they had that running joke going, and that guy was, he could pass for him. It was funny. Said one of them Saturday Night Live um, episodes they would have, and I think that offended 45, but I basically thought it was funny. Okay, Zero says, go up to my channel before the Justin Trudeau. Okay, okay, I will, Zero. Zero says, Zero, is it me or Mira? What? Oh, that he said go to that. I'm going to go to it. We both can. We both can, because we can, when we tell them little inside jokes, we'll both know what we're talking about. SP says, my dad is from the Bahamas, and I spent a great deal of my childhood there. I hated it when I was there, but loved it when I left. I don't know why I thought that SP, and I think this is my first time hearing that your dad was from Bahamas, and I don't remember you saying that, but somehow I can't. I had a feeling. I don't know why I thought that you were maybe from one of the islands or whatever. But then when you said Canada, but I still kind of had that feeling that. And then now it makes sense because you said most of your family is in Florida, and then that makes sense. You know, Florida, and that's an easy route to get to those islands, and a lot of the immigrants went to Florida, so that makes sense. But I kind of, I don't know. I kind of had the feeling that about you, and I can't explain why. I just kind of figured that you had that somewhat that of a background. And Gino is telling SP that my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. Bahamas is beautiful. Never been to the Bahamas, Trinidad, Tobago. Ah, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to taking a cruise to those places rather than to fly and get in the hotel, because on cruises a lot of things are included. You pay for it, of course, but it's you pay a price and you don't have to uh, and you can go on excursions if you want to, and you have plenty of excursions to pick from. So I'm looking forward to that day I can go back cruising. Maryland ain't gonna go up to the comments I told her to go to. Oh, I thought you were talking about a video. I thought you were talking about a video on your page. Sorry about that. Well, hold on. I be misunderstanding you. Is it me or is it you? Okay, okay. I did. Many older chicks in Mama when I was youngster. Oh, I get the feeling you do like older people. Zero, I'll be behind in my. When the replay, I'm gonna look through the comments and I'm gonna find it, because right now I'm gonna be going off in a little bit, but I don't like to misunderstand someone or miss something when they say something, and I might have just misunderstood, but I'm gonna go back. But originally, I thought it was it's something you wanted us to see because we were talking about 45, and it's a video that you had done. That's what I thought that you were meaning. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna wait for the replay and just go through. And it was for me. Okay. What time stamp? So it'll be easier. I'm gonna do it right now since. Okay. How many minutes ago? Okay, we were talking about. Okay, that's too far up. I went too far up. I think when we start talking about the African trips, let me go down. I'm way up too far. I see somebody did a new comment. See, that's why I wanted to do. I got a package. Hold on, guys. It says no one believes in retirement in the Bahamas but the tourists. We experience the work until you die lifestyle in Bahamas. Plus, I am American, so I got a lot of fights. Okay. Hold on just a second. Shoot, I thought because of this quarantine, people would stop ringing on my doorbell. Somebody trying to sell me cable when I got satellite. Like, leave me alone. I had nothing. Let me shut up. I'll go back on the replay at a zero. I just want to see because like I said, sometimes I miss the comments, so I'll go back on the replay, and I might have to ask you about it. I still might not understand because while we talking about stuff, and somebody typed something, I don't see it. We might have moved to a different topic. Okay, General's telling SP. Okay, I see they're probably jealous. SP Trinidad be having the block parties too. Okay. SP said, let somebody get married. General says, SP, do you like going to the parties? General, Zero, Trump is not polite at all. No, he's not. Not as much as now, but I love wedding receptions. I do too, SP, long as it's somebody else's. Zero said, it doesn't matter now, Marilyn. Don't worry about it. Okay, okay. But you mentioned it twice, so evidently you felt it was important. Instead, you could have just typed it again. But you mentioning it made me think that, oh my goodness, I missed something that I probably should have caught on to. That's where I'm coming from. Said, Mel, you made me laugh about the cable stuff. Yeah, that was the good thing about being self quarantined, and other people was doing this. People wasn't going door to door, invading my privacy. You think I was thinking I got a package or something, and here he is trying to sell me some cable, and I keep telling him I'm on the phone, I'm on the phone. And he trying to get me to, well, I can do that. I'm on the phone. And I don't like to be rude, but I will. When I done told you, I'm busy, put your card in the door and keep stepping. Goodness. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. And I apologize, Zero. I know you probably don't care no way, but I really want to, you know what you said. I don't like people to think I'm ignoring them because I'm not. But I'm gonna ignore you right now because I gotta go. I gotta go because I gotta go to the post office at 45 puts on an act, General. Sure do. That's now that's now how he really is. It's a role he puts to keep people talking about it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you know what I used to despise, Zero? I used to despise oh, that when Kanye jumped on his wagon, so to speak. I haven't heard Kanye talk about him in a while because Kanye had said at one point that he was going to stop talking politics, so I hope he mean it. But I mean, that's what made me say, okay, you know what, Kanye? I ain't got time for you. I ain't got time for you. I didn't totally um counsel him. I had made a video. I'll leave a light on for you, Kanye, when you wake up. Like Motel 6 tell you, I'll leave the light on for you. That's what I feel about Kanye, you know. When you wake up, I'll leave the light on. I'm not gonna counsel you all together because I think, you may, and that's in my opinion, you may, just need some your medication. But that, General says Maryland has been engaged with a cable got terrible flight. He just, how pushy they can be. I don't know what happens in the UK. Do you guys get people knocking on your doors and ringing your bell, want to sell you something, and you be telling them, I don't want to, trying to be nice, and then they take that niceness for something, okay, I'm gonna pull her in because, at least I gotta talk, and they done going through all these little sales pitch, whatever. I don't want to hear it. And then it gets me upset because I'm trying to be nice and you taking my niceness for being naive and stupid. So then the aggressive part of me come out like, get away from my door, leave a funky card and get away from my door. General said Kanye needs to keep taking his medication because he made a fool of himself. He made a fool of himself. Hashtag Zero was right. No, you were not right. You got them moments, Zero, where people get on your nerve and you just, you because if I'm a gangster, you one too, but you a top notch one. I didn't learn some things from you. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. You guys are funny. Thank you for joining me. We're gonna talk again soon. I gotta go to the post office. I hope they're not closed. The P.O. box part. General says when Kanye says slavery was a oh, I want the ooh. I immediately counseled him and his spirit. Oh, when he said that, it's like, and then TMZ made me mad to give that man a whole hour on their show. And then I was watching TMZ off and on, and but when they start putting information out there that the family didn't know, and put it like they did with certain people in the airplane with Kobe, they had reported some things and got information, and everybody didn't know. They might have known about Kobe and Jana, but it was more people on that helicopter. When they did that, when they start exposing the people cause of death, especially when they start dealing with people that they found drugs in their system, they were so ready to expose that deceased person is and all like that. And I'm just through with TMZ. But yeah, and before that, Kanye, they gave him like a whole hour's segment on his stupidity. I don't know. See you later, Marilyn. I've enjoyed chatting with you. By Zero and SP. Thank you for coming in, Zero, SP, and General. I really enjoy you guys. Thank you so much. And I agree with you, General. His spirit, to me is demonic. But it's a lot of demonic spirits floating around in this world. But I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. I'm gonna run off to the post office and I'll see you next time. Good night. Lil Wayne says that Black lives may matter, but he blessed to have never seen racism. Now he lied in his life. He was too high, SP. The reason why he never seen it because he was high. He Mm. He came from the first state to elect a black governor. Like I said, SP, Lil Wayne you know, what's in that cup, Lil Wayne? What's in that cup? I never understood him either. He just as wacky as Kanye. But I'm gonna go this time because let's pick this up the next time. Let's talk about the wacky people that got the nerve to have a platform and they saying just stupid stuff, thinking we gonna go for the okey doke. Okay, that's gonna be the next subject. If you guys want to talk about that, I'm for it. Okay, I'll see you later. Talk to you later. Thank you guys. Good night.